It's amazing how such a simple request can cause such an epic meltdown. Elon Musk shared this. Consistent with President Trump's instructions, all federal employees will shortly receive an email requesting to understand what they got done last week. Failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. Does this sound familiar? If not, I'll refresh your memory shortly, but first, some more context from Musk, who posted this. The reason this matters is that a significant number of people who are supposed to be working for the government are doing so little work that they are not checking their email at all. In some cases, we believe non-existent people or the identities of dead people are being used to collect paychecks. In other words, there is outright fraud. And I think this is probably fair. I mean, this is a great pulse check, as Musk pointed out. A very basic pulse check. I mean, if you can't at least respond to an email that's critical to you retaining your job by explaining what you did in the last week, you're probably not looking at your emails. So what the actual fuck are you doing? Or worse, does this person even exist? Of note, over the weekend, Musk posted this. A large number of good responses have been received already. These are people who should be considered for promotion. Why? Government employees actually working on a weekend. Brilliant, right? Who are the people who are on the ball? Dedicated, hardworking, responsive, got their shit together? They now have a short list of people to at least consider for promotion. This comment from Musk is not in jest. If you're running an organization, you just received a short list of the people who give the biggest fuck and who are the most responsive to request. Not hard. And now, the context. In case you guys were unaware, a truly hilarious exchange occurred when Elon Musk had expressed interest in a company then known as Twitter. Musk had purchased a stake in Twitter, was looking at joining the board, getting involved and having some active say in the company, although it quickly became evident to Musk that he was dealing with a bunch of absolute fucking morons and essentially he said, fuck it, I'll just buy the whole goddamn company. Check this out. Elon sharing some thoughts with then CEO Parag Agrawal. Third piece is a Twitter-like app on your phone that accesses the database in the cloud. This could be massive. By the way, check out the timestamps here. 3:23 a.m., 3:23 a.m., 10 a.m. the same day. Parag writes a wall of text, getting butthurt and having a fucking cry because Elon was sharing some thoughts publicly on Twitter about Twitter. Parag writes, "You are free to tweet, 'Is Twitter dying?' or anything else about Twitter, but it's my responsibility to tell you that it's not helping me make Twitter better in the current context. Next time we speak," they're texting now, by the way, "I'd like to provide you perspective on the level of internal distraction right now and how it is hurting our ability to do work." Oh God, dude, you can smell the fucking soy through the screen. "I hope that Ask Me Anything will help people get to know you, to understand why you believe in Twitter and to trust you. And I'd like the company to get to a place where we are more resilient and don't get distracted by things." Fucking pathetic. But we aren't there right now. So in response, Musk, hammer blow of the fucking century. "What did you get done this week?" By the way, note, Musk is texting these things, right? 3:23 a.m. Didn't hear back from Parag until 10 in the morning. I don't know how long you spent crafting this embarrassing wall of text. But then Musk, already there, immediately responds, "What did you get done this week?" "I'm not joining the board. This is a waste of time. We'll make an offer to take Twitter private." And we know how that went. By the way, spoiler alert, how that went is he did acquire the company, overpaid. Twitter apparently, I can't say definitely because, but almost certainly lied about the number of bots on the company. But anyway, acquires the company and has roughly quadrupled the profitability and massively increased the features, functionality, value. Oh, and then there's also more active users, more active user minutes, the whole massive acquisition of Twitter and transformation into X. It's a much better and much more profitable company, and it's a much better platform. This is the difference in mindset in the world of business and government. What matters? Results. What doesn't matter? Everything else, including being distracted by things. Wow. So remember, for those of you who don't know, Musk essentially got rid of about 80% of the people working at Twitter when he took over the company. And miraculously, the product is indescribably better, and the company is roughly 4 times as profitable. This despite totally credible reports in the fake news at the time that Elon didn't know what he was doing, that Twitter would go bankrupt under his leadership, blah, 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 blah. We're seeing this same level of transformation now starting to happen with the Department of Government Efficiency on the US government itself. It's glorious. And the Parags of the world currently employed are going to have a very hard time in justifying their existence. Imagine you get this email from the Department of Government Efficiency. 5 bullet points. What did you get done this week? And unlike the snappy responders who Musk has already given credit to over on X, you're struggling to think of what you actually did over the last goddamn week. If you are actually working, this is going to be a pretty easy email to respond to. It's also a great way to discover the people who literally don't exist or aren't even checking emails, right? as they said in the email. No response equals resignation. And now here's Donald Trump talking about, quote, work from home.
And, you know, we're doing another thing. If they don't report for work, we're firing them. In other words, you have to go to office. Right? Right? Look at her. If you don't report to work, you know, that's another scam. You know, who the hell, if I'm staying home, let's see, my golf handicap would get down to very low number. You'd be shocked if I told you the real number. But I would be so good, I'd try and get on tour. I would be so good. I'd call up, I'd say, listen, I'm really working here. Where are my clubs? Where are my clubs? Either that or, in many cases, they have second jobs while they're getting paid by us. So one of the reasons they're leaving is because they don't want to have to show that.
We all know work from home is a scam. There are very few exceptions to the rule. People tend to be a lot less productive working from home, tend to fuck around a lot more when there's no supervision. And of course, you lose the benefits of a collaborative in-person work environment. If you really do want to work from home, just start your own fucking company, bruh. And every one of your employees can be work from home as well as you. See how that goes. Might work out well. But I think it's reasonable, if you're a government employee, that you'd be working from offices. Now Trump talks about the Department of Government Efficiency.
Billions and billions of dollars to countries that hate us. And I signed an order creating the Department of Government Efficiency. You probably haven't heard of it. Which is now waging war on government waste, fraud, and abuse. And Elon is doing a great job. He's doing a great job. We love Elon, don't we? It's that guy, he's a character. With his son X. We love X. He's the only one can get away. His son's really named X. He's the only one can get away with naming his son X. If we ever did it, they'd say, you're crazy. But he's great. He's doing a great job. And he doesn't need this either. He doesn't need it. But he wants to see, you know, he's a patriot. People said, well, what official position does he have? I said, patriot. Oh, they didn't know. They said, that was good. He's a patriot.
A lot of truth in what Trump said there. Musk certainly doesn't need this. I mean, the attacks have just gone next level. The machine, the swamp, not happy at all that they're being held accountable. The fraud, waste and abuse are being discovered. And also the funding of legacy media. Fancy that. But Trump's right. Musk's just trying to help. He's a patriot. He sees an opportunity to help. He's going all in, taking many arrows as a result. That is courage and leadership. And this is an absolutely enormous win for the United States, and not just over the next 4 years, but likely decades to come. It's not just Elon Musk. It's some of the biggest brains on the planet foregoing multi-million-dollar annual compensation to help join the team at DOGE to clean out the waste, fraud and abuse in the US government.
What we're finding and what we found, and these were all found by these computer geniuses. I asked Elon, what trait do these have? You know, they started off with 12 guys, then they had 30 guys, then they had 57 guys. Now they have over 100 guys, and he attracts very young people with high IQs, you know. Some people attract very beautiful people. I think I like them better, actually. But he attracts young people that are brilliant, and they love the country, too. But I said, what trait do they really have? And the trait that they really have was that they're extraordinary with computers. They can take them. He said they make love to their computer. I said, I don't want to hear about that. Doesn't sound too good. He said they can take apart the most complex computer instruments and literally put them back blindfolded. So when they go into some guy that's ripping off the country by doing some of the things you've just heard or what you're going to hear, they can't be bullshitted. You know, they can't say, oh, gee, there was a mistake. There was a big mistake. And we're finding hundreds of billions of dollars worth of fraud, waste and abuse, but I think fraud will be the number one.
And you would think that American taxpayers, regardless of their political persuasion, would be thrilled that a team of extremely high IQ patriots would be dedicating their every waking hour to discovering fraud, waste, abuse and misuse of taxpayer dollars. Surely this is a cause everyone can get behind, right? Well, apparently not. The unhinged attacks on DOGE, and I do mean unhinged, truly a sight to behold. Here are two of the actual worst humans on the planet, and also two of Elon's biggest haters. Their whole brand actually appears to be hating on Elon Musk, sharing their thoughts on the Department of Government Efficiency, which is discovering and ultimately will save US taxpayers hundreds of billions, maybe even $1 trillion+ dollars.
I want to know who are these young, highly intelligent, highly motivated zealots following him into these buildings and shutting off payments to schools and Head Starts. I want to know their names.
Well,
I want to see
they're trying to, the local officials are trying to make that official. The newly installed Trump are threatening people for naming their names, just so you know. But go ahead.
Oh, yeah, but they can unmask CIA officers who put their lives in harm's way to try and keep our Americans safe. I want to know who their names are, and I want to see Democratic governors saying, I'm going to do everything I can in my power to use the full faith and to the letter of the law to put you folks in prison. I think what you're doing is trespassing.
Okay, let me be clear. Scott, who, by the way, historically, Tesla's overvalued, shorted the stock, lost a lot of money, also made a massive bet on Kamala Harris winning the recent presidential election. What an idiot. Isn't even attempting to be subtle. He's calling for the arrest of the Department of Government Efficiency engineers, the team of high IQ geniuses, who in read-only mode, as federal government employees with the same rights and privileges as other federal employees, he's literally calling for them to be arrested. Essentially do whatever it takes to stop these people from discovering waste, fraud and abuse. I mean, this is so incredibly unhinged. What the fuck needs to be going on in your head to appear on a podcast and say this stuff out loud? It boggles the mind. I mean, unless, of course, you're a recipient of some of this fraud, in which case I could understand making the case to arrest the people that are discovering the fraud. Let's continue.
I think this is a coup. And be clear, just because the new insurrectionist who was elected, I don't believe this is legal. And I'm going to hold the people accountable who are trespassing and part of a coup accountable. To just sit back and say this is horrible and this is unlawful, we need to go gangster here and say, look,
Bro, you can see the pain in Scott's vagina as he speaks. We need to go gangster here? Is he implying what? I mean, I'm not even going to go there. And the claims that it's illegal for federal employees to be Bro, I mean, this dude needs some serious, I don't know. This to me is a man who's not well, like mentally. And I mean that in all seriousness. This is not the behavior. These are not the talking points of a man who isn't in serious trouble in terms of mental health. And look at he's not well. Something's not right with Scott. This is truly something else. If anyone knows Scott, you might want to do a wellness check. No kidding. I don't think he's okay.
We are not negotiating around this stuff. This is illegal. This is a coup. This is the unlawful seizure of power.
Just to be clear, none of these things are true. It's not illegal, it's not a coup, and it's not the illegal seizure of power. These are government employees. Remember, Donald Trump campaigned heavily on the Department of Government Efficiency as one of his main campaign promises to discover government waste, fraud and abuse, led by Elon Musk. I mean, they campaigned on multiple times together. And guess what? Trump not only won the US presidential election, he won the popular vote. He hit and swept every swing state. The people of the United States of America voted for this, and they knew that this was what they were voting for. I mean, this is crazy. What is he talking about?
We are not going to engage in these bullshit, ridiculous arguments over, Gaza and Greenland. We are going to hold the people accountable. Here are their names, here are their faces, and we have contacted the local authorities in where these kids live, these young adults.
God damn, dude. I mean, this is a guy on the brink. I mean, seriously, something's very wrong with Scott. He may end up in a mental health hospital very soon. I'm not kidding, by the way. He's advocating the doxing of everyone involved in Department of Government Efficiency, putting targets on their backs for what? Discovering waste, fraud and abuse. He is not okay.
And we are going to hold them accountable.
And the question is, a lot of them are like, what do we do? They're literally asking me, what do we do to stop him? I was like, I just don't. I was like, you actually don't have the means to do so, because these poor people are in these agencies. And when these idiots come in, these children, these arrogant little pricks come in and say,
bro, she's projecting harder than a fucking IMAX cinema. What the fuck? That is so demeaning to call these extremely intelligent patriots little children. To suggest that they're arrogant when you're currently having a discussion with another dimwit who has the audacity and the arrogance to suggest what they're doing is illegal, that you should just stop them? What? Brother, this is just hard to watch. Why is there so much hate in their hearts? This is hateful. They don't just have a differing opinion. I mean, these are two of the actual worst humans on the planet right now. Darkness. It's nothing but darkness coming from these two. It's incredible.
Say, we're going to call the federal marshals, or the president has ordered you to step aside. They kind of have to. You have to be resistant and be walked out by security. And then security doesn't know which one to listen to, right? Essentially.
I'd like to see all, whatever it is, 48 or 49 U.S. senators and any Republicans that want to join. I'd like to see a couple hundred members of Congress go to the fucking building where this is and demand to go in and physically stop this and let them arrest you.
Dude, these two are just unhinged. And apparently they are also on a tag team media tour. By the way, a still frame is worth 1,000 words. The body language, the bitterness, the hate, the darkness in these people is just oozing through the screen. Wonder what they have to say on the Crisis News Network.
One of the things that he has is he loves dank memes and jokes, and he loves to make jokes himself and then laugh at his own jokes.
Yeah, that's called being an adult human male, by the way. Oh, God. Is there a single man watching who doesn't laugh at his own jokes? Hello, what is a dad joke?
And then all the people who work for him laugh at him, and therefore he thinks he's funny. And he's not funny. He's sometimes funny, I guess. I never thought so. But he likes to do this. He likes to engage in sort of these juvenile little pranks. And when he's not doing that, he likes to insult people. And all kidding aside, we don't mind being called these names. But it's a 53-year-old man does not do this. I mean, or this one does.
Wait. Is Karen Swisher here suggesting that a 53-year-old man does not make dad jokes? Does not? What? Well, that's one way to confirm that you don't interact with any actual men in that age bracket. Obviously, Scott over here seems to have the emotional development of a child, an actual child. And I don't mean that lightly. I mean, the stuff that he was saying, bro, he needs help. I mean this, by the way. If anyone knows Scott, welfare check. So Karen Swisher here. Elon Musk is a typical man who laughs at his own jokes and thinks he's funny. Yes, we know. Anyway, let's see what her tag team partner had to say regarding the recent presidential election.
I'll tell you what I'm doing this afternoon. I'm going to bet $358,000 on Harris because on Polymarket, it's 62.38. Because my observation is that the people who go to these betting sites tend to be younger, tend to be more male, and they're much more Trump. The statistics in the polls, every A-plus quality poll shows it is a toss-up within the margin of error with a slight advantage to Trump. So if I said to you, Steve, I'm going to flip a coin, you have to pick heads or tails. If you bet $1, though, you're going to get $2.90 back. You would take that bet because say it's a 50% or close to 50% likelihood, but the payoff is 2.8 to 1. On a risk-adjusted basis, you're getting free risk-adjusted return. If I win, I get $1 million back. So even if the edge is to him, on a risk-adjusted basis, it's a great bet.
So, I mean, this is incredibly awkward. Poor Scott was under the false impression that it was a tight race, reliant upon the completely unreliable pollsters. Now, in principle, if it were actually a coin toss, if it were a tight race, he would have a point. Great risk-adjusted opportunity. But all these comments have demonstrated is Scott's completely insular existence in a thought bubble, reliance upon unreliable data sources, having the false level of confidence that this was a tight race. Now, Scott mentioned it was his observation that people go to these betting sites tend to be younger and lean a little bit more toward Trump. Now, this may be true, but Scott, people who go to a betting site are betting their hard-earned money on an outcome. They're not betting money on who they want to win. They're betting their money on who they think will win. Important distinction. I too actually bet money on this election on Trump. I didn't quite have a spare $380,000 because it was all in Tesla, but I had a few bucks to spare. And in stark contrast to Scott, who seems to live in a thought bubble and was relying upon the incredibly unreliable pollsters, here was my final election prediction. Trump wins by a landslide. Nailed this one. He wins the popular vote. Nailed this one. He wins all swing states. Nailed this one. And it will be a crushing, overwhelming victory. 4 from 4. A clean sweep. And most of you guys have seen this post already. If you didn't, well, just look up on X. The extremely short version that I posted below this was that, 0 people who voted for Trump in 2016 and or 2020 who are voting Kamala in 2024. This alone, by the way, would have been enough to know the outcome of the election. But wait, there's more. 2, at least one person who voted for Hillary and or Biden in 2016 and or 2020 who will be voting for Trump in 2024. 3, people are so fed up that record turnout is inevitable. Do the math. And now 2 of the 4 from the All In podcast share their thoughts on the Megyn Kelly show about Elon's 2 biggest fans, Karen and Scott. The irony, of course, is that Jason, until, a few months ago, every time Orange Man Bad came up, all he could talk about, January 6th. So a guy who has at least a semi-mild case of Trump derangement syndrome, at least until recently, and who I now believe voted for Trump in the most recent presidential election, sharing his thoughts.
There's another podcast with the very annoying Kara Swisher and her partner Scott Galloway. I know, that decided it would be a great idea to arrest the DOGE workers under Elon. I mean, Scott Galloway openly called for them to be arrested. And Elon responded on X saying Swisher and Galloway are threatening talented young software engineers who gave up high compensation for death threats in order to help the American people. Shame on them, Swisher and Galloway, cruel, mean, and deceitful human beings that they are. Then those two went back on their podcast and said the following in SOT 10.
Like, they traded it because this is what they want to do, and they were enthusiastically doing it. And we don't have to like them. And just by not liking them, we're not threatening them. So that's fucking nonsense. And you didn't threaten them in any way. And it's a larger part of his strategy of intimidating journalists. He's trying to shut us up.
If he's going to accuse me of overreach, then come after me, bitch. To go after the woman, it shows one of two things. Either you're weak or you have an incredible bias, i.e. misogynist. Let's just...
Fuck, dude, I can't even. Oh, shit. Yeah, again, seriously, Scott is not well. Somebody who knows him, do a welfare check. Typical playbook of the left here. Say something outrageous, demeaning, threaten, attack, go after, incite, and then play the victim. This is from the same guy, Scott, in that previous clip we saw, to go full gangster, right? Arrest them. They must be stopped, this kind of rhetoric. Now Karen and Scott here playing the victim. Oh, just because we criticised them, as opposed to threaten them. I mean, Scott was talking about their names, their faces, where they live, right? Now Scott attempting to play the hero. Come after me, bitch. I mean, God, these two are so unhinged.
Let's get to the source here.
Yeah,
it's just so clear the guy wants to fuck me. I mean...
That's what I said.
Hang on. Surely he didn't just say that.
Let's just get to the source here. It's just so clear the guy wants to fuck me. I mean...
That's what I said.
Okay. I mean, I'd love to hear what Freud would have to say about that.
The sexual tension is palpable.
I get it. And he's rich, so there is a shot here.
Oh, my Lord.
What is that?
Chamath, that is a great question. I mean, the dude's face is a little... I mean, really, what is that?
I mean, it's irrelevant.
You explain it to me. That's Kara Swisher. She says she's the tech journalist. She's the one who covers your industry better than anyone.
You know, she was, I was friendly with her for a long time, with Karen Swisher. I'm sorry, Kara.
Same.
Karen. And, you know, she kind of, when she was with Walt Mossberg, you know, she really focused on the tech, the business. She was a little spicy on the margins as a broadcaster. But when she partnered with Scott Galloway, the whole thing went really dark. And, you know, I have some sympathy for him. He's talked about mental illness, depression, whatever.
Oh, okay. That may explain everything. You guys have heard me many times in the past describing Tesla short sellers on average, self-identifying members of Tesla Q, ready, as, quote, self-hating, and you've heard the rest of it, but that first opening phrase there, self-hating, a universal trait among everybody who's been actively shorting Tesla stock over the years. I've not found a single exception to the rule. When I say that, I mean severely depressed, and it's not a joke. It's not just some funny description. It's an accurate insight into the psychology of the people who continue to bet against this company. Most often, they see in Musk what they wish was in themselves. They feel inferior. They look at his life, and they look at their life, and they hate themselves. Instead of trying to take some proactive steps to improve their life, their situation, etc., they just project their self-hatred out onto Elon, and then you get these deranged, super deranged takes. People are so blinded by their emotions and their irrational hatred of Elon, because it's a lot more comfortable to project it out onto him as opposed to just sit with it themselves, that they do silly things like short Tesla stock for a decade straight and lose all their money and then just keep going. So I didn't know this. I guess Jason's heard a little bit more of Scott's background. But I mean, hey, in a nutshell, I don't say self-hating for nothing. This may explain literally everything. Again, not joking, by the way, welfare check on Scott Galloway. He is not well.
Very publicly on his podcast. And, you know, I think he's so desperate to, you know, get ratings. And they're making, you know, decent money. I think from their podcast, they've been talking about, you know, oh, they're making 8 figures with their new deal or whatever. They just do Elon for clicks, right? In the NBA, I'm a Knicks fan. We have an expression, Knicks for clicks. You get a lot of clicks if you talk about the Knicks because it's a big market. You get a lot of views if you trash Elon. But, you know,
Now, Jason's hit a massive accurate point here. You will get a lot of views if you trash Elon. It's easy viewership. There's a lot of self-hating, basement-dwelling adult virgins out there who hate their lives and look at Elon and they get so fucking mad the guy's achieved everything they wish they could have. And if you make Elon-hated content, you'll get so many views from the same dark group of people who hate themselves and project it out onto Musk. It makes them feel temporarily better about themselves. I guess it's worth wondering then, are Karen and Scott really saying what they really think? Or Are they saying what they need to for views, or is it a combination thereof? But again, to Jason's point, easiest way to get clicks on Earth right now is Elon hate.
I do think, they're saying some things that are truly offensive, and then, which is fine. But he also was like making jokes about Trump being assassinated. I thought that was incredibly poor taste. Like, you really shouldn't make jokes about the, potential assassination of the president.
Especially
I think
this president.
Yeah, it's like happened twice. And, I think he's off the deep end. People send me clips and they go viral and stuff like that.
But she's making a cottage industry out of being this alleged Elon expert because she's interviewed him. I mean, has Don Lemon. Doesn't make him an Elon expert.
I was with Elon like the 2 or 3 times she interviewed him, like, because we're friends and we hang, and it's irrelevant. And, like trading on other people's brand, like, just go build something in the world, go do something yourself. And I think these commenters are not actually in the arena, as my friend Chamath likes to say. They're not building something, so they just want to tear people down, and it's good for ratings or whatever. But it just seems super illogical, because to what we were just talking about with Germany and Europe, they're just out of sync with how people think.
We have bigger
They're
problems.
super out of sync, and they're not objective. I can come on here and I can talk about, hey, here's where we differ in the border, and you can have an intelligent conversation about it. I think they're just off the deep end with Elon derangement syndrome, Trump derangement syndrome. I think they're just really scared of what's going to happen during this presidency. I can tell you what's going to happen during this presidency. Exactly what happened the last time. It's going to be a bit chaotic. Stock market's going to go up. We're going to balance the budget a bit. He'll stop the wars. He's good at not starting wars, and he's good at stopping them. And I think it'll be a relatively successful presidency, and then somebody else will win, and life will go on. This idea
Hopefully
that
man you
Trump's
just saw
going to
in Munich.
destroy the world is crazy. Like, he
Hopefully-
didn't destroy the world last time.
The thing that I find most troubling about this truly unhinged rhetoric regarding Elon, the Department of Government Efficiency, the super deranged attacks, calls for violence, and then playing the victim. More on this in a moment. So there's enough people out there who are extremely mentally ill and such easily programmable NPCs. And you put these people's lives at risk with your insane Elon hate, your attacks on DOGE. This is a great example. This dickhead, Robert Garcia, playing the victim here on X, received a letter from the US Department of Justice asking him to clarify comments he made on air during an interview with CNN, where he literally said, when asked how Democrats can stop Elon Musk, quote, "What the American public wants is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight for democracy." Okay, this guy on CNN literally said, when asked how to stop Elon Musk, is to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. Key words here, actual weapons. The DOJ says this sounds to some like a threat to Mr. Musk, an appointed representative of President Donald Trump, who you call a dick, and government staff who work for him. Their concerns have led to this inquiry. The full context here, DOJ saying, could you please just clarify exactly what you meant when you said bring actual weapons? What did you actually mean? And this absolute dickhead post this, says, so if you criticize Elon Musk, Trump's Department of Justice will send you this letter. Members of Congress must have the right to forcefully oppose the Trump administration. I will not be silenced. Some guy responded, you going to explain or clarify why, when you said bring actual weapons, you didn't actually mean bring actual weapons, as the DOJ is asking, or are you just going to play the victim and pretend your ability to criticize people is being taken away? I wish I didn't need to say it, but there's never been a more dangerous time to be Elon Musk than today. And he knows. He knew this was coming. He knew what to expect. Doesn't make it right. The guy's really taking one for the team, and you got to respect that. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. Plus, has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, or I can keep going. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more, don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. Now look, these are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs.